What's good, YouTube? It's your man Rage King back with another one. Yes, another upload to the channel. And before we get started, I ask if y'all please go down there and hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that share button, hit that bell for notifications if you're new. Welcome to Rage Rants TV. This is how we do Rage and Rebels. Crown up. And if you're new to the crew, welcome to the Rage and Rebel Revolution. Now let's vibe. And y'all, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. The Texans looked absolutely horrible today. I know a lot of people will say that's being a bit harsh. I don't think so one bit, because I'm going to be honest with you, there was no reason for the Texans to lose this game. There was absolutely no reasons for the Texans to struggle to score the ball the way they did today. And I'm going to show all the reasons why they lost. And I'm also going to tell y'all all the reasons why I believe that the Texans should be better than what they are. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now you look right here at the stats. You compare the stats side by side, the team stats anyway. You look at the total yards for the Texans and the total yards for the Raiders. Pretty much about even. The Texans were 4 more total yards than the Raiders, but about even. You look at the passing yards. The Texans had the advantage in the passing yard situation. You look at the rushing yards. The Raiders definitely ran the ball better than the Houston Texans, but the Houston Texans were nothing to snuff at on the ground today. You look at the yards per play. The Raiders had over a full yard more per play than the Texans. Not a huge difference, but definitely a difference, so to speak, but not a difference that's enough to make this big a difference on the scoreboard. You go down here to the first downs. Yes, the Raiders had 6 more first downs than the Texans, but 21 first downs is nothing to sneeze at in a single game. Third down efficiency went in the Texans' favor, 9 of 15 versus 4 of 9. Fourth down efficiency went 1 of 2 today for the Texans, 1 of 1 for the Raiders. They got a big crucial fourth down when they really needed one. The total plays, the Texans ran 10 more total plays than the Raiders. The sacks allowed, the Texans did a good job of keeping, well, I'm not going to say keeping him off the ground, but keeping Davis Mills upright, so to speak. They kept him off the ground in terms of losing yardage per sack. They need to keep him off the ground more in terms of taking hits. But as far as taking sacks, they did a pretty good job limiting the amount of sacks he took today. The punts were in the Texans' favor. They didn't really punt the ball today a lot because they were moving the ball on offense. Fumbles lost, didn't really have one. The Texans had a crucial pick 6 that pretty much ended the game and pretty much iced the game at the end of the day, which we cannot have. And you look at the time in this possession, it's about even. Here's why the Texans lost. I know y'all originally look at these stats and be like, damn, well, why would the Texans lose if this was the case? Why would they lose if things were pretty much even, pretty much down the middle when it comes to stats? Let me show you. You take a look at the box score. You take a look at the score by quarters. Tell me what you see. You see 3-0 in terms of the Raiders, 10-7 in favor of the Texans, 10-7 in favor of the Texans in the third quarter, and then you look at this fourth quarter right here. The Texans did not score a single point in the fourth quarter, but allowed 21 points, which is 3 touchdowns and 3 extra points. They allowed this while not scoring at all in the fourth quarter. So in my opinion, the reason why the Texans lost this game is simply because they could not score the ball. They kept their penalties down. They kept the turnovers down. They even kept the sacks down. So what was the problem? They are marching down the field. They were moving the ball because you look at the stats. Let's look at the stats for the Texans. They were moving the ball. Davis Mills, 28 of 41, 302 yards and 2 touchdowns. Had a crucial pick 6, but we can live with those numbers. I can take this production from Davis Mills minus the late pick 6. I can take this production from him each and every game. Dameon Pierce, 20 carries for 92 yards. I can take that. I can take that production from him each and every game. You come down here, though the ball was spread out a lot more. No one receiver we had really dominated. So we have receivers by committee. No one had a spectacular game, but you see the ball being spread around amongst a lot of receivers. So you look at this and say, well, damn, the Texans should have won this game. They should have at least been in it. Why is the gap in the score so big? It's because the Texans are moving the ball down the field. They're just not putting the ball in the end zone. It makes a big difference to move down the field and they have to kick a field goal, settle for a field goal, I should say, versus moving down the field and scoring touchdowns. The Texans moved down the field. Yes, they're doing a great job of moving the ball today. They just could not put the ball in the end zone when they needed to put it in the end zone. They were kicking field goals. Basically, they were kicking field goals while the Raiders were scoring touchdowns. It's the equivalent to basketball where you go up against a great shooting team like the Golden State Warriors, or why the Warriors seem so deadly, though it doesn't seem like they have, an over-absorbing amount of talent. For the simple fact that They're shooting threes, and they have legendary, and I mean absolutely legendary shooters. They have legendary three-point shooters that are shooting threes while they're forcing you to shoot twos. That's essentially what happened today. This was the basketball equivalent in football of the Texans were scoring twos while they were shooting threes. Basically, the Texans were kicking field goals while the Raiders were scoring touchdowns. That's why the Texans lost today. I would like to see mass improvements from Davis Mills because though I think he's coming along, I'm still on the fence with him. I'm already of the mindset that Davis Mills is not the quarterback of the future for the Houston Texans. Because I said, like I've always said this, and I'm gonna continue to say it because I truly do believe it. If you have to question whether you have a franchise quarterback, you don't have a quarterback at all. If you don't have to question whether this guy is going to be your quarterback going forward, then you have your franchise quarterback. And yet I have not seen from Davis Mills, despite having a pretty decent outing, having decent outings in the past, I do not see Davis Mills being a long-term answer for the Houston Texans. You can say it was because of the O-line's not very good. You can say he doesn't have very many people to throw to. You can blame it on the fact that the Texans have absolutely no pass rush. But I'm of the mindset that Davis Mills, I've seen enough of Davis Mills to be honest with you. He's not bad, but he's not very good. He's what we call mid. To me, he's a borderline starter versus very good backup. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he seems to me like a very good backup instead of being a full-time starter that you can depend on to say, hey, go win us this game. Davis Mills has not proved to me that he's a winner. I know he's still young, he's still developing, but to me, he doesn't seem to have signs of someone of a franchise quarterback caliber. To me, he seems like he could be a starter, yeah. But to be a guy that can win you football games, I don't see that with Davis Mills. I really don't. And this 21-0 fourth quarter score is the example I point to. Is just one of the many examples I can point to that Davis Mills is simply not the long-term answer in Houston at quarterback. But that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all think about the Texans taking a tough loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, man. As long as y'all man respect and logical, we can have a conversation. But that's the end of my video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Win, lose, or draw, even though they make me absolutely mad when they play bad like this. Go Texans. See y'all in the next one.